Warm greeting to you all. My name is Eleanor Evans. I'm the Executive Director of the temple. And our temple is called Palyul, Changchuk, Darjeeling, Ohio. And we're very honored to have you here. So the name of our temple, Palyul means glorious island. And our temple is one of the 6 main Nyingma monastic seats of Tibetan Buddhism. So in our tradition, in the sort of Tibetan Buddhist tradition, there are 4 different schools of Tibetan Buddhism, and one of them is the Nyingma, which is our school. Changchuk Darjeeling means flourishing enlightenment. It's a glorious island of flourishing enlightenment. Our temple here, this building was acquired in 2005 and renovated, and we've been here ever since. Our group started in Northeast Ohio in 1999. Our lineage goes way, way, way back to Kunzak Sherif in what year? Kunzak Sherif? Yeah, 1500s, yeah. So we have a long history, and lineage is very important because the teachings are passed down authentically from teacher to student to teacher and so forth and so on through the lineage. So it's very important to have an authentic, unbroken lineage. The purpose of our temple is for study, meditation, practice, and also for community gatherings of different sorts. And our temple serves both Tibetan Buddhists and also from those who are not necessarily Buddhists but are drawn to come to our temple and want to participate in some of our activities like meditation. We have meditation every Wednesday evening at 7. So you don't have to be a Buddhist to come in and be in our temple, enjoy what we're offering here. There's a newsletter sign up on the website, and the website is on your card that you have that we passed out, the handout. And it shows all the weekly practices and so forth, and teachings are also posted there. If we have a teacher coming and we have special teachings, we have all that information that gets posted on our website. I'd like to introduce Lopan Rigzin Gosa, whom we call Lopan Riglo for short. Lopan is from Ladakh, which is in the very northwestern part of India, near Pakistan and China. Is that right? Yeah. And he came to Nampali Monastery, which is in South India, to become a monk and pursue Buddhist studies when he was 16. And he was ordained in novice. So there's different levels of vows, like there are right in the Catholic tradition. So he was ordained with novice vows in 2012. And then he took full ordination in 2018, right? And he's completed the Shedra program, which is like a college and graduate school all combined. It's like a 9 or 10-year program. And he completed that in 2021. And he is the translator. We have a summer retreat center in upstate New York. And he translates for the teachings for the first year program. It's an 8-year program. So, Lopan, I'd like to turn it over to you now. Oh, here. Take the mic.
First of all, I would like to welcome everyone to our small space in here. So I would like to try to give you an overview of what Buddhism is. So to begin with, Buddhism is a spiritual tradition founded by Siddhartha Gautama, widely known as the Buddha, about 2,600 years ago in India. And Buddhism is a combination of both philosophy and a way of life in order to aimed at understanding our mind and coming up suffering and achieve true happiness, which is called nirvana and complete enlightenment. So to go a little bit deep, let's go with the small biography of the Lord Buddha. And Buddha was born as a prince, and he was at the young age he was kept away from worldly sufferings. But later on, when he was going around the city, he realized he saw many people suffering of old age, illness, sickness, and death, and so on. So then he realized that even though his wealth and comfort and power cannot free himself, cannot escape him from the suffering that people are going through. He also has to go through. So therefore, he set on a journey to achieve liberation or freedom from those suffering. And then it is said that he practiced austerities along the river Ganges for about 6 years, and finally, at the age of 35, he was able to achieve complete enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, which is presently in Bihar, India. And then the rest of his life, he spent his life teaching others the path to enlightenment, nirvana, and complete freedom from the suffering. Moving on to the real essence of teaching that he has given through his life, actually we, the followers of the Buddha, believe Buddha to be someone who is really compassionate, enlightened in a sense that he is unsurpassable in wisdom, which means to understanding the true reality, and at the same time he was very skillful in means. Skillful because that all his teachings, the teachings that he gave throughout his life was dependent, was in accordance with the mentalities or the faculties of the beings who came to him. So therefore, we will find many kind of Buddhist traditions, such as Theravada tradition, Mahayana tradition, Vajrayana traditions. So these all came up due to the different faculties of disciples that he found, and based on those faculties, he gave different teachings. But it was, the destination was always the same: complete freedom from the suffering and everlasting happiness. So the universal kind of teaching for all the traditions, the Theravadins, the Mahayana and Vajrayanas, are the first sermon that Buddha gave after his enlightenment in Sarma, in Varanasi. That sermon is called the Teachings on the Four Noble Truths. And this is like the universal teaching of the Buddhism, which conveys the real essence of what Buddhist path and what Buddhism is. So the four truths are the truth of the suffering, truth of the cause, and truth of cessation, and truth of the path. So these four truths combines the real essence of the teachings of the Buddha. I still have some time, right? So
Yeah, you have 5 more minutes or something.
Okay. So when he talked about the truth of the suffering, he defined that as in the samsara, when we are here in samsara, we are always driven by our karma, and we are born into different realms. And there are said to be 6 realms. So wherever in these 6 realms we are born, there is always a suffering And always there are, even if in the higher realms, there are happiness or joy to such extent, but it is not everlasting. So therefore, it is defined that wherever you are born in the samsara, in the six realms, the nature is always suffering, because this happiness in the samsara is not everlasting, as Buddha himself realized at the early age of his life, that the status, the princehood, the luxury, he realized that was just a temporal happiness. They won't help him from the long run. They could not help him to escape even from the suffering of old age, death, and sicknesses. So therefore, this defining the true suffering in samsara is regarded as the truth of the suffering. And then there is the truth of the cause, which is what is causing this suffering, what is causing us to be born into those realms. So this is defined as the real three poisons, which are, those are ignorance, anger, and attachment. These are defined as the real cause of our suffering. And then there comes the truth of the cessation, which is freedom. And there is the possibility of achieving complete freedom from all this, freedom from suffering by getting rid of all the causes of suffering. So, in order to achieve that state of cessation, one has to follow the path. Then there comes the truth of the path. And that truth of the path can be condensed into three trainings. The truth, ethical training, samadhi or meditation, and wisdom. So, by having a sense of wisdom that Buddha told, the selflessness, or widely known as the empty nature of every phenomena, and based on the training of samadhi, meditation, and mindfulness, and by following an ethical conduct in our life, we can achieve the state of awakening. So these are the paths. So this is how generally we can consume, have an overlook of how Buddhism is. And Buddha himself never said or stated that himself as a god. He always defined himself as a teacher, a compassionate teacher. And he always has said that I have shown you the path, and freedom from suffering totally depends on you. And that is one of the biggest statements we regard. And there is also a statement that which says, I was thinking of remembering another statement, but I forgot it. So I think somehow this is, I hope that you all got a kind of overview of what Buddhism is. And thank you. Maybe
first of all, this is Holiness Rinpoche, the older gentleman who passed away in 2009. And the young boy, these are two pictures put together. The young boy is his reincarnation, who is now 13 years old. And he's at the Mother Monastery, actually in China, in Tibet, being trained and so forth and so on. Other things that you see in the temple, you see these wall hangings. They're called tankas. And some of them are actually painted, and some of them, like the ones over here, are actually sewn together with cloth, pieced together with pieces of cloth. And they are representations of either historical figures or wisdom, deities that represent wisdom. Over here, you'll see this is a special kind of shrine or altar area dedicated to His Holiness Tenra Rinpoche, and that little small golden stupa, it's called a stupa, what you're seeing in the center there. And it actually contains some relics because when his body was cremated in 2013, was it 13? 2013?
Yes,
yeah. Relics emerged from the cremation, and so some of the relics are in there. So that's a very holy, sort of sacred stupa that contains his relics and mantras and other sacred objects, precious things. And then you see offering bowls in front, and you'll notice that the first two on the left are water. They represent the offering of water for drinking, water for washing. The third one is representing flowers, something beautiful to see, and the middle one represents incense, something lovely to smell and purifies the environment. And the candle, the lamp to light your way towards enlightenment. Perfumed water is the next one, and then the last one is a little miniature torma, and it represents food. So these are all, when we fill the offering bowls and we think about making, mentally while we're doing this, we think about making these offerings. You'll see pictures. Pictures over here on this wall are Holiness Tenra Rinpoche's 3 heart sons who are today with us on the earth. Karma Kuchen is the current throne holder at the monastery in Tibet. And Jangam Tuku next to him leads our summer retreat in upstate New York. And that's Luksan Kuchen Rinpoche. And then there are other pictures. Our spiritual director, Khenchen Sewan Gyatso, on the far right. You'll notice the Dalai Lama here on the far left. And Tenra Rinpoche with crown, second from the end. The statues here that you see. The flowers are kind of in the way here. I'm going to move them down so you can see better. All right, here we go. The Rinpoche, who was a historical figure who brought the Vajrayana tradition to fruition in the Himalayan region of the world, 7th, 8th century. Buddha Shakyamuni in the middle, the historical Buddha. On the right is Tara. She represents enlightened divine feminine nature, wisdom nature. And then the teachings of the Buddha are those where you see the white flaps on objects. Those are actually pages, which are texts. The texts are printed on both sides, and then they're unbound, so that you read one side, you flip it over and read the other side. And so those are all the teachings of the Buddha, and then the commentaries. And then on the far right are some that are particular to our tradition, our own tradition. I think we have a minute or two. Oh, the prayer wheels. Somebody asked about the prayer wheels outside. There are mantras outside and inside those prayer wheels. So when you spin them, you're sending the prayers out into the universe. And also the flags, when they blow, they're sending prayers out. What else can I tell you? Any questions?
Yes, there's one right here down here.
I'm sorry. Okay, yes?
What is that?
I'm not sure what you're pointing to.
That shrine?
The corner shrine?
Yeah.
In the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a mandala inside there. Lokan, can you describe how that is different? And it has a lot of tormas. You see the large tormas there. Oops. And it contains a mandala. And
this is more related to the Vajrayana tradition of the Tibetan Buddhism. As I said earlier, that there are different traditions that came into existence based on different teachings that Buddha gave according to the different mentalities. And Vajrayana tradition is regarded as one of the most profound and swiftest path to achieve enlightenment. And you can, through that path, even you can say that one can achieve enlightenment within a very single life. So this mandala represents the truth, in a way, how the true reality is that is defined. and all those the offerings and different things that you can see, these are all related to offerings and defines, and each one of them, is a representation of these and many things like so. Thank you.
There is no single internal. We don't believe in an internal God. Is that your question? Yeah, we believe that there are all these beings that represent. Yeah, I've got two mics here. So that there are these deities are there in a relative sense to help us. They represent wisdom. They represent enlightenment. And so they're there to help us along the journey to become enlightened. Is that a fair statement?
So God sometimes it can be confusing. When I told you that Buddha never claim himself to be God, in that sense I mean that he didn't say that I'm the creator. I have the power to do everything. So even in his said that the Buddhists cannot just rinse your sins through water, and cannot just get rid of your suffering with the hands. It is just I have shown you the path to get rid of the suffering, and it is only through your effort you will be able to do so. So that's why, in that sense, we don't believe that there is God. But as I mentioned, there are 6 realms. So one of this realm is God's realm. So that gods are superior in terms of our merit. They have accumulated good merit, so they are born into a higher state inside the samsara, and they are also not free from the suffering. And they are also, when their merit exhausts, then they are turned to fall down into the lowest of the samsaras. So it is only by achieving complete freedom or liberation or enlightenment one will be able to achieve the complete happiness or reliable everlasting happiness.
Eleanor?
We're running a little over
Yeah, we're
time.
going to have to wrap it up. The next group will be coming sometime pretty quickly here.
Okay, you want to get I'm still going to talk while you're getting